It is the Riot Podcast. This is the Giving Tuesday, November 28th edition. So if you're listening to this on November 28th, you should definitely give to RadioU. Give something. It's a day all about giving back to nonprofits that make a difference all year round, including RadioU. You can do that at RadioU.com. And even if you're not listening to this on Giving Tuesday, RadioU, completely listener supported. So it's never a bad time to give at RadioU.com. Now, I'll tell you, I'm not saying you should skip ahead, fast forward the podcast, but you should definitely stick around to the tail end. The last third of the podcast, Nikki hops on for a few topics in honor of Giving Tuesday. So we talked to her about the new substance that's keeping Congress going, and it will shock you. We also talk about the Naked Guy at Disneyland. Nikki had some expertise on that.
Their new feature.
That's right. It's a wild new ride at Disneyland. And sans Nikki, you would hear Isaiah and I talking about a relationship trend around this time of year. They call it Scrooging, that you probably want to avoid if you're a decent, upstanding person. And also, this is crazy. You can find out what food digging is when it comes to dating as well.
We also talk about some dogs did some serious damage to cars, and I go off a little bit on how cars just aren't built the same, man.
Yeah.
Things just aren't built as tough as they once were.
Isaiah gets on his soapbox a little bit. He's got some ideas about what American manufacturing needs to look like when it comes to the car industry. It needs to get back to the good old days, it sounds like.
As well as why every drive-thru worker probably hates me every time I go through the drive-thru.
Yeah, one of the many reasons.
Yeah.
Enjoy the podcast. Again, don't forget to give to RadioU. Do what you can, even if it's $5. That would be incredibly helpful. RadioU.com. And we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Now, I have here a harmful dating trend, but this one hits close to home. This one, I believe that almost every person in the entire world has considered this. And the trend is Scrooging. If I told you harmful dating trend is Scrooging, Isaiah, what would you think that is?
I would imagine it has to do something with Christmas.
Of course it does.
Like being like a Scrooge.
Yeah. In what way?
Maybe you don't want to celebrate Christmas with your girlfriend?
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Like when she asks you to watch the Christmas movies, you say no?
No, I thought you meant like you don't want to go hang out with her family. Like
that too.
You break up because it's like, I don't want to meet your parents. But what Scrooging actually is, and it's specific to Christmas, is breaking up with your partner right before Christmas because you don't want to have to buy him a gift.
That sounds like something you'd do.
Diabolical, isn't it?
Right up your alley.
Now, they call it Scrooging at Christmas time. For me, when I read this, the first thing I thought was, I mean, that's one thing for Christmas. I feel like this is even a bigger thing at Valentine's Day. And I just don't know what, like, you'd have to have a cool term for that. I'm sure by the time Valentine's Day rolls around, somebody will figure it out. Maybe like Cupiding. Would that work?
No, because Cupid's a good figure Valentine's Day.
That's
We're looking for
right.
like the evil. They don't have one of those for Valentine's Day yet.
No, like the evil Cupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, I think a lot of people, especially if it's a pretty casual relationship, and if you're a guy, probably more likely, but you know, this has crossed so many people's minds. I don't think many people follow through with it, especially at Christmas time. But when you're talking about avoiding buying presents for people, I think Valentine's Day is a big time for that. But Christmas, maybe it crosses your mind too. Especially maybe you struggle. You're sitting there, you're trying to think of what to get the other person, and you can't come up with it. And you're like, well, maybe I'll take the coward's way out. Maybe I'll just break up with them.
If you can't figure out a gift to get your girlfriend, you probably just shouldn't be dating. It sounds like you can't come up with anything, like not even like one thing. And so I think as well, maybe if you're early on in your relationship and you're like, are we doing gifts? Are we not doing gifts? They're probably wondering the same thing. and more than likely, she's going to get you a gift rather than you're going to get her one.
Yeah.
So I would just go ahead and say, be open about it and just ask her, do you want to do gifts? We don't have to do gifts.
Listen, if you're dating somebody, you're never going to go wrong buying a gift.
That's the truth.
I mean, you can buy a bad gift, but if it's at a stage where you're kind of questioning if it's even necessary, just do it.
You're saying just buy the gift.
Just buy a gift. That's not going to make things worse unless you just buy absolutely a terrible gift. Unless you buy her aftershave or something. Like, that'd be dumb. But
it just depends on like what your intentions are going for. Because if you buy her a gift, that means that you guys are like dating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more serious then. So if you're not ready for it to be more serious, you can't do gifts on Christmas. That's crazy talk.
Do you think there's any relationships out there where somebody jumps the gun on buying a gift and that's actually
that's a red
showing
flag.
That they're too eager? You're like, I thought we were just kind of hanging out. I didn't think it was
this whole thing. We're doing gifts. What am I going to come to your Christmas with your family too, or what? So I think you just talk about it. You just like casually bring it up in a laughing way, like, hope you have my gift ready for Christmas. Hope you're shopping for me. Is that a gift or something for me?
Yeah.
See what she says.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like you're a Scrooge over there.
Hey, I'm okay with gifts. I like getting gifts.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
As if you didn't have enough reasons to be suspicious on the dating apps anyways, there's always people you just don't know. You don't know until you actually meet them, and sometimes even after you meet them, you just don't know. I've got one more thing for you to have on your radar if you're swiping, and that is what they call food diggers. And a food digger is, now you know what it actually sounds like? It sounds like a gold digger, but that wants
free food.
Yeah, she does. It's a person that they don't want your money, but they do want you to take them out for a nice meal.
They don't want your love. They just want the food.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's not a person at all. It's a restaurant. This is documented now, but people are talking about it on TikTok where they have experienced what essentially is catfishing. It's a profile that pops up. You match with them. You start chatting and whatever. Maybe there's a vibe between the two of you. And so they're like, all right, let's meet up. Would you like to meet up at this restaurant? And so you go, and then they're a no-show, but you're at the restaurant. You're not going to just leave, right? They're banking on, well, I mean, once they're already here, they're probably going to order something. And so you've just been catfished by a restaurant so that they will get you in the door to eat something, to buy something from them. And they're breaking your heart, but filling your stomach. It's, I'm mad, but I'm also impressed. Whoever devised this scheme, a mastermind, a restaurant mastermind.
This is like one of the most messed up things I've ever heard on a dating app.
It is. This is pretty psychopathic behavior, isn't it?
Imagine being the person who got stood up on the date. Like, you know how bad that feels? Like when you go somewhere and you get stood up, like you don't want to tell your friends you got stood up. You don't want anybody to see you getting stood up. And to think that if I got stood up on a date, which would crush me, and then I found out it was the restaurant that did that, I would be ready to throw hands with whoever's behind the counter.
Yeah, and they might not even know.
Yeah, they wouldn't even know.
Because it's not like they're telling all the employees, hey, we got the scheme we're working on.
See that guy over there?
Yeah, it's like
his date's not coming.
One go-getter marketer or whatever in the marketing department is the one who's behind this or something. It's not the whole store, but either way, of course you're going to be upset. But I mean, it might ease the blow on your ego a little bit if you find out it was an actual person that thought better of hanging out with you. It was a person who never was real the whole time. It was just this restaurant that only wanted you to come get some fish.
It was just this restaurant that just wanted to waste your time.
Yeah, that just wanted to totally drag you through the mud.
No, I'd probably just sue them. I think that would be the best way to go about it. Probably just a sue.
You think you can do that?
I think you could for sure sue that. I mean, what is that? For a restaurant, I feel like that's just lying. You're not allowed to do that. You can't make a profile and say you're somebody you're not. Wendy's can't pose as someone and tell you to come somewhere to eat at their food. That's definitely illegal. There's no way this isn't illegal.
I don't know.
You're telling me that someone who works for Wendy's.
I think this is so streets ahead. They're just so far ahead of the game that I don't know if there's a law about this yet.
Oh, there definitely is. There's no way that they can pose. A restaurant can pose as a human being, get you to come to their restaurant as a date. It's false advertising. Get you to come to the restaurant on a date and then not show up.
I know
There's
that.
no way.
Listen, it's wrong, but I don't know if it's illegal. That's all I'm saying.
People have been sued. People have been sued for much less.
Well,
Restaurants have been sued for what? Their coffee being too hot.
Yeah.
And them not telling them. Yeah, they for sure could get sued for this.
Now, I think it should be clear. One, this is more of a thing, it seems, at least more of a proven thing overseas. Like in India, there's been some big reports on this. Also, I think it's more one-off restaurants and probably not Wendy's. Although Wendy's is, I mean, they have AI in the drive-thru. So what's to stop them from putting AI? Like they're saying these are AI profiles. It's not actually a person whose job it is to catfish people, because that would also be wild. But I'm sure maybe somebody's getting some ideas, seeing these stories or hearing us talking about it and being like, actually, you know what I should do? Get on Bumble and just start, hitting people up, and maybe they'll come get some food.
So if you get catfish, or if you get stood up on a date anytime soon, you just go up to the counter, and you just start demanding to speak with the manager.
Yeah. The worst is going to be now if you do get stood up on a date and it's at a restaurant. Now you're going to be like, all right, the jig is up. I get it. And you know what? I'm not buying it. And you make like a big scene. Yep. I can totally imagine somebody
Especially if it's at like a weird restaurant that you wouldn't have picked, but they were really set on going there. You're like, I would never pick this place. This place gets no business.
Didn't even know this was here.
Now
I'm
you know
the only
why.
person in the building.
This place is brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Now you know why.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
You guys, you think there's a tendency when you think of our government in the United States, I don't think we think of the government employees as in like Congress, elected officials. You don't think of them as people, do you?
Not normally maybe the elected people, but the workers, sure. But elected, I guess they're working, but you don't ever think of them usually on like the same level as like a normal person.
No, you think of them as like lizard people, maybe at best. But
that's on you, Hudson.
But it's true. No, I'm trying to humanize it because they are like they're elected officials.
They are lizard people.
No, they're not.
You're telling me that they blow out candles on their birthday? I don't believe it.
Yeah, that's exactly. That there are real people too, and they may be very, very different from you and I.
But they're rich. We're not.
Yeah, right.
Let's humanize that.
They've got some power.
Oh, wait, are they rich because they ended up somehow getting elected? You just need to get yourself elected to something, Isaiah, and that'll bring you to that level.
I could use some election.
I think a lot of them are elected because they're rich. But nevertheless, they are people too. And you think about this, Congress is a workplace, just like we have a workplace. And so just like you have your workplace where like trends and everything's go around at the workplace, everybody's getting into whatever game or whatever. The same thing happens at Congress. And right now at Congress, let me tell you what the trend is. The trend is to drink Celsius nonstop. You know the drink Celsius? You ever had it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently it's really caught on. And the way it's being presented, it's because it's caffeinated, right? It gives you energy. It's an energy drink. Also, it suppresses your appetite like Ozempic, so good for keeping weight off or getting weight off. And you think about that, you're energizing yourself and you're drinking Celsius, which you can do while you work instead of having to take a break to eat. And so it's actually making our Congress people supposedly more efficient as well.
Oh, now here we go.
Yeah, they're getting so much done because they're drinking Celsius instead of taking a break for meals.
Is this brought to you by Celsius or, who's telling us the story?
Do you think that's a good advertisement for Celsius?
It's a Congress-Celsius collab. Celsius was like, you drink Celsius, so you're going to have to lose weight and you'll be so productive. And then Congress was like, yeah, we're losing weight and we're productive.
But
Celsius needs Congress needs their own flavor. So that is the collab that they create. It's the Congress flavor.
That's right. This one was designed by Mitch McConnell himself. It's just what he loves to drink. I feel like if it is an ad, I don't know if I'm Celsius, if I want to be, because people don't have a very good impression of Congress. People think Congress is like the place where productivity goes to die, where things don't get done. And so if you're saying Celsius is the drink behind all of that, but then again, if Celsius is the thing that can get the wheels turning, then maybe that is a really good ad. If all of a sudden they start, passing laws left and right or repealing laws or whatever they do, then all of a sudden maybe Celsius looks really good because it's like, finally, maybe we should just elect Celsius president.
At this point, I'm not sure if I want them to do more or less. We're all in a weird spot.
Right.
But Celsius, and this is also, they also posted a picture. they have a Celsius vending machine in Congress.
That's what they're saying.
So
that,
wait,
like,
do they pay for the Celsius? Or please don't tell me they even get it for free.
They probably do.
I mean, it is a vending machine, but yeah, they say that a lot of like important deals and meetings go down because everybody's just congregating at the Celsius machine. I guess they're waiting in line. And so it's like, well, the representative from Kansas is here anyways, might as well chat with them and maybe we can strike a deal.
Maybe. And I guess we should be thankful it's not anything worse than Celsius or any energy drinks. I always assumed it'd be more stuff. So,
yeah. Celsius is what's keeping them going, not something else.
Oh, hi there.
This worst of the riot.
Crank that up.
Radio U.
Nikki's helping out. We've got her on the horn this morning. Nikki.
I'm on the horn. Sure, that works.
I've got, this is an amazing story going around about Disneyland. It is so I mentioned this to Nikki off the air, and she seems to have, I told her to stop, but she seemed to have some kind of expertise on this story. It's about the guy that got naked on the It's a Small World ride at Disneyland. So I guess, you say naked guy and Nikki's ears just perk up. I don't know.
She must know the story already.
Right.
No, I saw the POV, so the point of view of the naked guy on the ride before he got undressed. And I guess I just didn't catch because that video went just as viral as his naked video. Mm-hmm. But if you take A Small World, you're riding the boat along the ride. Mm-hmm. There's a little walkway next to the water that's not in the water where like workers will walk. Yeah. And it was him. He got off the boat and was walking on that before he got undressed. And that's the video that I saw of the naked guy.
Oh, wow. And so there's like a whole saga. Some people are pointing out like this guy, the way he's acting, obviously getting naked on the It's a Small World ride at Disneyland in this case, that's not normal behavior. And so they're saying he must
you can tell if you've seen the videos. He's not doing that nor, and he's wearing his underwear for some of it, but he's all around the little dolls.
But it's weird. He just gets up and he's in his underwear and he just sits down like right among all of the little singing dolls. And then it's super weird because like the music plays, but then it stops. Very surreal video.
He looks about as confused as everybody else does during this.
Yeah. He doesn't know what he's having some kind of episode, and who knows what that was triggered by. Maybe he just rode that ride too many times and it drove him insane, But I will say, I think you got to give this guy his props. He's in good shape.
He is shredded. That's the first thing I noticed.
You do.
That's not what we should be doing.
You've got to hand it to him. You've got to hand it to him. He's got a six-pack.
No, we do not have to do anything along those lines, Hudson. This is just, he's getting nothing but negative feedback on this.
He's in good shape, but he also, like his hairstyle and stuff, he kind of looks like, can I say this?
Weird Al.
Yep, a young Weird Al. That's exactly what I was thinking.
He looks like Weird Al in the movie that they made about his biopic.
Yep. Daniel Radcliffe.
Which for a streaker is not the best look, but it is a fitting look, I feel like. It feels like it fits. It fits his profile.
Yeah.
Well, you feel bad because everybody who was on the ride was stuck on there for quite a few hours. They say up to 4 hours. Yeah, because he was obviously streaking and having an issue, but still looked good, I guess, according to everybody else.
He looked good doing it. Yeah. I do wonder now what the consequences are. Is he ever allowed in Disneyland again if he gets
I bet you he's banned. I think he's also that's a criminal thing because he's naked around people. So on a kid's ride. So I bet he's got something.
Yeah, when you add like being naked and exposing yourself to children, usually that doesn't end up well for you.
There is a whole Nathan For You episode about that.
Wasn't that a great riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.